Hey, Alan.
I mean, to be fair, it was my own dumbass fault.
You were using the wrong brain.
Well, I kind of thought I was, like, foreshadowing, hinting enough, you know.
Oh, no,
It
you
was
were. I was just stupid, and, like, in my mind, I was like, okay, normally this is a red flag, but, I mean, come on.
What are the
Surely this is
chances?
all fine. Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, maybe I'm just being a little too paranoid, and I wasn't being paranoid enough.
Is my volume okay for everyone?
I think so. Yeah, I literally had logic, logic did all out before while it was happening. It was like, oh, she's getting kind of flirty with me now. That's kind of a red flag. But yeah, we have been drinking. Maybe she's just trying to deflect from, not talking about the things I'm asking about. And then, yeah, turns out no. Oh yeah, no, yeah, especially the fact that I fucking blurted out, oh yeah, I know. Like a dumbass. Yeah, it was such a hard time, like, trying to figure out how do I settle my way through this, and then I just wasn't getting it out, or wasn't figuring it out, and then I was just like, fuck it, I'll just go with it.
So, yeah, so that happened, and then afterwards, you went back to, well, you're at the hospital. You left the hospital, and then went to the church, because then you're going to go to the church, check on the guy, and then go to the prison, I think. But once you got to the church, he kind of gerrymandered you into going to the necropolis with him. And then that happened.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I'm assuming you're going back to the hospital to rest as well as you can until morning.
Well, pretty
Yep.
much, yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
I think so, yeah.
Just I keep pouring silver nitrate on Cian. Just try to get him healing faster.
So Keen, obviously, I mean, he can go back in there, maybe sneak back into the ward, into a bed, and actually get a good rest that night. But the rest of you, I mean, I don't know if either of you been to the Royal Infirmary. It's not comfortable now. 100 years ago, it would not have been that comfortable if you were like waiting around for someone in the waiting rooms on like hard wooden chairs or benches or something. And I can't imagine it being heated very well back then either. So yeah, you're going to have a rough night. You're not going to sleep well. You're not going to feel great in the morning. Do I be nasty and give you the stress for that? I think I am. So, yeah, Paul and Mildred take stress.
Okay.
I am really, really grumpy. I've got a C.
I took a B.
Sure, you feel anxious, you're not slept well, you might overlook something.
Do I manage to heal up a little?
Oh, okay, roll me your fitness, your 2 fitness.
Oh shit, yeah.
Okay, you can remove 1 of your stress. You sleep really soundly. Probably because all the painkillers and everything you've been doped up on. And then just sheer exhaustion, like you have a deep, dreamless sleep.
Can we remove our stress from 2 weeks ago?
Not yet, if you haven't done something to stop it yet. No, because you need to spend downtime recovering up.
Okay.
Yes, so it's morning, it's Monday the 13th of April. You'll be in the infirmary, kind of cold, not feeling very well. You'll be able to get a breakfast there though, so you'll get some like fried eggs and bacon sausage probably. They're usually pretty good with those things. And Finlay will assumably... Oh, there he is there. Finlay is assumably with you as well, and will also be feeling kind of rough. But it's morning, it's daylight, it'll be a warm and pleasant day. So, how do you want to proceed?
Yeah, I think we should just go and get some breakfast.
Well, yes, that's... I mean, you'll be sat down and eating your breakfast together. But, you know, when you're discussing or deciding what your next step is, what is your next step?
Probably investigation day.
Yeah, Kian's definitely just quiet and just trying to. He's definitely like going through some shit in his head. Definitely grateful for the first dreamless night's sleep that he's had, but
Will we get a newspaper as well to see if there's been any news about the prison?
If I could ask Mildred, what kind of contents do you have in your handbag? You press the button.
I have my camera. I have all my archaeological.
Can't have your camera in your handbag. It's way too big.
Oh, okay. I have just my archaeological tools.
No makeup, ticket stubs, nothing like that.
Oh, I have some makeup, yeah.
Do you like a little makeup kit with a little hand mirror, maybe?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so you know, and you go into the ladies' room at some point to kind of freshen up, and you notice that the hand mirror in your makeup kit is gone.
This is not good, is it?
Yeah, I think I'm okay now. It's usual login shenanigans.
No bother. So I just described how after your encounter, you went back to hospital, you rested up for the evening. You would take a stress as well as the others because sleeping in the waiting rooms in the hospital is not comfortable. But yes, you sit down, you have breakfast, and then you can decide where you want to go.
I know one of the things that happened last time also, Kian had actually put on the ring that I've had this whole time.
Yes.
Is it still like around my finger or anything like that, or? Okay.
Yep, probably just engorging himself as much on it. Probably being really irritable with people, like not really up for much small talk, being very grumpy.
Okay, so where do you want to go? Like, what's your options?
I was thinking maybe we could go to the university.
Glasgow University, do you mean?
Yes. Because I was thinking some of the sort of professors would maybe know some information about the doctor. What do you guys think?
I mean, that probably would know.
What do you, Finley and,
Okay, so Paul pipes up and suggests that, you might start with the doctor at the prison, because that's what you were originally going to do before you got distracted. And Callum's probably going to type quite a few replies because he's coughing.
okay, so let's go to see the doctor at the prison then.
Well, I mean, we can summarise your options if you want. So you had the doctor in the prison you were going to go to originally. There's always Arkwright's house, where you think the girl ran back off to.
I don't think we should go there. I think, like, we'll all end up dead.
At least not without a shotgun.
I don't know if going back to the cathedral is something that interests anyone, because the books are still there, obviously. And no longer the Reverend. Necropolis, if you wanted. Sorry, Necropolis, if you wanted to check out during the day. I'm not sure where else you might go in Glasgow.
I think I definitely need to heal up a lot more before I go back to the necropolis. If it's all the same to you.
Yeah, I don't think we should go there.
What about you, Finley? What do you think?
I think we should definitely try and get the books back from the cathedral at some point, but I feel like, we should maybe report the Reverend's demise to someone, because, he seemed to be performing like a ritual to keep things at bay at the cathedral, and without him doing that, I don't know whether that might have repercussions for us down the line. I'm not sure who we could report that to, though, other than possibly the father back in Edinburgh.
Yeah, Father Campbell.
Could we not sort of phone what's called Father Campbell and inform him?
We should probably try and do that, yeah.
He did have a telephone, so yeah, that's something you could do.
Well, let's do that first and then decide what our next steps are.
Okay, so who wants to phone Father Campbell? I'm assuming Keen or Finley.
Yeah, Cian will dial the number.
After a few rings, it answers. It's hello.
Father, it's me, Cian.
Oh, Cian, how's it going in Glasgow?
Not well, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Was Reverend Grimmond no help?
He was, actually. Unfortunately, Reverend Grimmond is no longer with us.
Whatever happened?
He was unfortunately quite accurate when he thought that something evil was in the necropolis, and before we had a chance to stop him, he insisted that we go in there and face the monster, the creatures there, and unfortunately it killed him.
Is there anything more we can do about this danger?
Well, we're as you know, we're investigating the goings-on around here, and we believe it's connected with what we've been doing so far. We have a few leads. We're trying to find what we can do if the creatures there, what their weaknesses might be. There's a lot that we do not know, and we need to find out as much as we can before we can attempt fighting these creatures again. Father, I really don't think that simple crosses and holy water are going to be enough.
No, well, I think we've all seen with the war, sometimes stronger measures are needed when fighting evil.
Very much so. I think we need something far more substantial.
I need to warn you as well, Kian. The police have been around asking about you. I was able to deflect them, but they're quite insistent with their questioning.
About me?
Yes, you and any known associates you might have. I, of course, didn't tell them anything.
Well, why would they be asking for me?
I don't know. They wouldn't tell me what it was in connection with.
I do fuck. All right. I appreciate your help, Father. Oh, Finley's having issues again.
Yes, well, keep me up to date, Kian, and watch your back.
Thank you. You as well, Father. You as well. By the way, how's Bruce doing?
Oh, he's as happy as can be. One of the boys is taking him for a walk around the grounds right now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Really missing him now at the moment. Hopefully, I'll call you back with some better news. Thank you.
Of course, and I'll be praying for you all.
Right, well, that's done. Apparently the police are asking for me and anybody that I was seen with.
Well, that's not good, is it?
No,
Did they mention anyone's name other than yourself?
not to Father Campbell.
And just to say to people as well, when I was in the bathroom, item as in a mirror, a wee compact mirror, is missing from my bag, and nothing goes missing from my bag. I've always got it secure, so I'm quite apprehensive about that.
Well, did it fall out of the purse, perhaps, or the bag, or?
I don't think so. My bag was zipped up. I always keep my bag zipped up and secure. It's one thing when you're an archaeologist, you always have your tools and everything sorted, and I never not zip the bag. So
It's rather strange. Like, there's nothing. It's just a regular mirror. Why would anyone steal the mirror? Of all the things that they could steal from us, if anybody nicks anything from us, why a mirror?
So,
yeah,
Paul,
it's a bit bizarre.
sorry, Paul also contributes. Are you surprised? Because you'd obviously think that the police are part of the cult already, anyway.
Well,
Some might be. There was definitely word didn't they already get Reverend Michael Thomas off the hook that one time?
Yeah, the Edward Ferguson, he got Michael Thomas off the hook, and also he was the one that really never paid much attention to my husband's disappearance.
Yeah, so... Oh, fuck, that's right. Well, that might... Yeah, no, it's not... shit. None of this is ideal. Alright.
I think we've lost Finley for the moment, but do you want to go and check out the cathedral on your way to the prison? Is that what you want to do?
I suppose we should do that.
Probably a good idea to check up on at least the books.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's odd. Kian's gonna pull out a mirror from his pocket. I'm going to assume I've never had this in my pocket before.
Is that my mirror that you have in your pocket?
I don't know.
If you open the little flip mirror, you can see inside someone has pressed it very hard with a thumb or something, so much so that it's cracked the mirror.
Oh, that's just a very terrible sign altogether.
And Kian, your right thumb has got a cut on the thumbprint.
Did you break my mirror?
No, I've been asleep. From my wounds, Mildred? Why would I take your mirror and then break it?
Well, let's just dispose of it because it's just freaking me out. Let's just put it in the bin.
Yeah, kid, like, almost, he's like not even really focusing on the mirror. He's like staring at his own hands, like what's going on as he's throwing the mirror away. You all, like, no, I was in the bed all night.
Oh, Paul will look at the mirror and look at Kian and just accept.
The nefarious things, cunt, yeah. Ain't that the fucking truth?
Do you think that's strange, Paul?
We've watched blood fall from the roof. A priest being murdered by bats. This is tame by comparison.
Fair enough.
It's just such a strangely minor thing. Why? Just...
Let's just get these books and get our way to the prison as, swiftly as possible.
Fine.
Are you okay, Paul? You look a bit grumpy.
Hurl.
Is Alan still there?
No, he's not even came back in the Discord. I don't know what's up. His laptop or whatever.
Yeah, poor guy's Discord.
I'm sure
Okay, so
you'll be fine.
okay, so what's happening? Like we're in the
Yes, so you go into Cathedral, and there's already a crowd of people you can see to the side of the Cathedral going over the Bridge of Sighs. You can see there is a police vehicle there, one of those kind of black cars with the light on top. And there's a bunch of congregation members milling around the entrance to the cathedral, but the doors for the cathedral are closed at the moment.
Okay, this is going to be quite tricky because, as we can see, police don't really like us much at the moment.
Oh fuck yeah. Is there? I'm probably a long shot, but is there anything that we can see that the crowd is particularly looking at, or which direction they're kind of focusing on?
The crowd at the church or the crowd on the bridge?
Probably the crowd on the bridge.
So the ones on the bridge are like watching. There's been a rope and some police officers are cordoning off the bridge and not allowing anyone across from it. You can see across the way at the necropolis entrance, the door's wide open, and there's several police officers there.
Fuck, that's probably the Reverend's body.
Yeah. I think can we you know, when we were getting the books, is there another reverend that we can talk to?
Well, I mean, you could ask the congregation outside the cathedral if there's someone else.
Yeah, that's probably best.
Okay, so it's mostly sort of housewives, because like a lot of the men in this day and age would have been working at this point in time on a Monday. But they're maybe coming here for advice during the day from one of the ministers. And the gossip around there is the Reverend's, the Reverend Grivmond, Dr. Reverend Grivmond is dead. The police have found his body. And that's why the thing isn't open. Apparently one of the ministers has already came out and told them that this is what's happened. And they're not able to open the cathedral right now, but they're working on dealing with the police first, and then they'll get around to opening the door when the police have finished questioning everyone.
Is there a certain person I can speak to?
There's a number of ministers that take care of services in the cathedral. Yeah,
Okay,
you can see a few of them like standing over the bridge. Different police officers are talking to them, and there's a group of them, obvious by the uniforms they're wearing and the robes, kind of standing around talking to each other as well.
Okay. Just come over and just like speak to one of them
What would you like to ask them?
about the books.
Okay, so what do you say to them?
I'll just say, what's going on here? What's happening?
Oh, it's very sad news. One of our dearest members and leaders appears to have died during the night.
Oh, that's dreadful. Who was it?
Dr. Reverend Grivmond. A man of great stature and patience.
Oh, I know the doctor. He was keeping books for me, and I was to pick them up today. Do you know if anyone, because I need access to these books, do you know anyone that I could, speak to get access to the books?
You have persuade, don't you?
Yes.
You're not unattractive, are you? Apart from the big
I'm-
scar. Okay, so roll
yeah.
dice for me.
Is it 2d6?
1d6. He kind of gives you a look of shock and disgust. Do you have luck? Do you want to spend that first of all?
If I spend 1 luck?
You'd have to spend
Does
2
that-
to get a success.
Okay, 2 luck.
So yeah, he gives you a look of shock and disgust. And he's like, well, I suppose if it's essential that you have them right now, I could let you in. Just don't make me saying so, miss. That's a little callous when a man's life is ended like this.
Yes, but if you knew the Reverend, he would want me to have those books just now.
If I knew him, I've known him for 10 years.
I know, I understand, and I feel for you as well, Liz. And it's a terrible, terrible loss. I'm still in a bit of shock over it, but he really did want me to have those books as I have a mission. So if you can give me those books, that'd be great.
Yes, I suppose. This way, he takes you to one of the side entrances of the cathedral, opens the door, takes you inside. Where was he keeping your volumes?
And then I just point to where he was keeping them.
He gives you a curious, sort of puzzled look. The crypt. He was keeping your books in the crypt.
Yes.
Yes, it was a favor from Father Campbell.
Oh, I see. Okay then. Takes you down to the crypt, opens the doors, takes you in past the sarcophagus to the chest at the far end, unlocks the chest. And as you're fetching the books, I don't suppose this has anything to do with Reverend Grimmon's demise.
I don't think we're.
Well, did you know anything about his beliefs as regards to scratchings, perhaps?
He mentioned it.
I was quite concerned for his mental well-being when he talked about such things, but now I'm just wondering if you know if there's more to this than I do.
Honestly, we've only known the Reverend for a few days. We asked him to look after these books for us. As I said, a favor from Father Campbell. I don't really know much more than that.
Takes the 3 books out, wraps them in a sort of thin blanket, puts them in a satchel for you. My name's Samuel Thompson. I guess if you feel like divulging anything more about this, or if there's some way we can help you here, you can ask for me.
Thank you very much, Samuel. We really do appreciate this.
Well, I guess you best be on your way before the police catch sight of you.
Thank you. God bless.
And he makes that
God bless.
cross and sign and starts locking up the chest and such behind you as you leave.
Well, the books weren't stolen, so that's good.
Yeah, but Samuel Thompson, he was a bit sketchy of us.
To be fair, we're very suspicious. Just all the time.
Who was the woman? See, when we were in Malig, was her name Catherine?
Yes, her name's Catherine. I believe.
Okay. Was her name Catherine Dunbar?
Give me a sec, I'll check. Can you hear us now, Al?
Yeah, I think I'm okay now. Also, yeah, from my notes, Catherine Dunbar is right. Yeah.
I've got Mar written, but close enough, yeah.
I'm just thinking. Oh, I'm looking at thinking about that old news article. Do you remember Catherine Dunbar?
In Finlay, they just went to the cathedral to check on the books, and there was a police investigation scene going on, and they had a cleric allow them in to pick up the books.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
I can see him typing.
Yeah, the woman we rescued in Malig. She passed away. She was one of the people that died of the outbreak.
Well, I think that might have been something separate, actually. I have a feeling that, yeah, there was a name, Catherine Dunbar, in the newspaper, but was that definitely the same person that
Catherine
we...
Marr was the person you talked to, because her husband was
Oh.
Paul Marr, M-A-R-R.
Oh, it was Catherine Marr.
Well, that's very ominous, Paul.
Maybe we should contact Catherine Marr. Did you have an address for Catherine Marr, Paul?
Yes, he has an address for her. It's over in Anderson.
Maybe we should go and pay our respects because of Paul.
Yeah, probably the best that we also stay away from Arkwrights. I really just don't want to go back there.
And plus, I was going to also say, like, she might have some information about the doctor.
Yeah, one of yous can talk to her about that. I think I'm done asking questions. Recovering from the last few I've asked.
Yeah, I don't think you should be asking any questions. Do you think we should go then to Catherine Marr's first?
Least likely to kill you.
That's a fair point. Catherine Marr at least seemed to be friendly to us.
Well, we can't take that with a spoon of sugar, can we? We thought the maid person was going to be nice and turned into like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
That is true, although to be fair, we did save Catherine Marr from the fish people, so, you know, did I would hope that she would be a bit more positive towards us than like sticking us with knives, but yeah.
Is that the one I want? No, it's this one because it's bed sit. Yes, so Paul Marr, Catherine's husband, as Paul knows, had a bed sit in Anderson, just on the west side. It's like a 10-minute walk after that from Central Station. Yes, so when you come on your way over there, there's lots of people going to and from work at this point, still in the morning. It's probably 9:30, 10 o'clock by the time you get there. Probably 9:30 actually. And Paul, you've been here before, so you know exactly which apartment to go up to and knock on the door. And knocking on the door, you see the familiar face of Catherine, the rather plump, cheery-looking woman, although she doesn't look very cheery. And she'll be surprised to see you, because she'll be like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting to see you lot again." Okay, so Paul just says, "Hi, how you doing?" "Oh, yes, I'm doing okay, I suppose. I'm just seeing to a few things here before I head back to my parents."
How,
There you go.
how are you keeping?
As well as you expected, I've made arrangements for Paul's funeral and to take care of these things. He didn't leave a lot of affairs to take care of, so there's not much to do really. He almost seemed quite prepared for what happened. But listen to me prattle on. Do you want a cup of tea?
I'm okay, thanks. We just had breakfast, so. Do you want a cup of tea, Ken?
No, thank you very much. Yeah, very, very hearty breakfast, unfortunately.
Oh, all right then. Well, yes, I'm doing okay. Thank you very much for checking in. It's very kind of you.
So, so who was like the doctor that, we're hearing about these outbreaks, these terrible outbreaks. So who was the doctor that was dealing with that? Did you know him personally?
No, if you remember, Mildred, I was with you. And then when Paul escorted me back here to Glasgow, you know, told him already, Paul. That's when I learned that my husband had been taken to hospital and had died.
Did you know that what's called that doctor was in the prisons and people are dying there now?
Well, no, I didn't. I wasn't aware.
Did anyone come round and say anything to you? Have you had people coming round? You know, any doctors coming round regarding it?
Doctors? No.
No new visitors apart from us, obviously, but no other visitors.
Oh well, my husband's flatmate, who stays here. Obviously he's been in and out. He's at work just now, but No, I've not had any visitations by anyone.
Is there anything we can do, like financially, to help you out for
Oh,
like
oh
funeral
goodness, no,
costs?
no, I wouldn't ask anything like that. No, no, my husband had a funeral plan already paid out. It's all taken care of. No, I don't need to impose on you anymore. I already have.
Have you got family that are there for you?
Yes, I've said to Paul already. I'm going to go back to my mother's. I
That
don't
would
feel like returning back to our business in Millig. I will sell that place as soon as possible.
maybe in the lakes though. Do you not think that you're probably best, you know, having that done? You know, having a rep do that rather than yourself. You know,
Well,
going
yes,
back there.
yes, that's what I'm going to have done. Probably. I've not thought a great deal about just now. You know.
Can we look at spot hidden?
I mean, she's not letting you in the bed set unless you want to come in.
She was gonna make us a cup of tea.
And you said you didn't want a cup of tea, so she's still standing at the door talking to you.
And do you mind if we pop in for a second? What's called Keen just got he was had a operation and he needs to kind of sit down if that's okay.
So you know as well that Paul has already been here before.
Yes, but things could have changed.
Okay, so if you change your mind until you change your mind about the cup of tea, she'll be like, oh, yes, of course, come in. Because she doesn't want to be rude. And you know, sit, it's a bed sit, it's very small. She apologises for the lack of space. In the kitchenette, there's like a small table you can kind of crowd round. And she's standing like right next to you as she's making tea.
No tea for me though. I don't want tea.
Okay, but if you're asking to get in to get tea, someone's going to have to accept the tea.
Yeah, but you don't have
Finley
to
Keen, do you want to jump in anything here?
Yeah, I'll take a cup of tea if you're offering, thank you.
Yeah, Kane will accept.
I mean, you can see her making the tea. She's standing right next to you as she does it.
Kane's definitely keeping a sharp eye, though.
Yeah. You can see every step of the process quite clearly. And then she pours you a cup of tea, and she pours herself one. And she's like, you know, there isn't any more seats to sit down. So she's standing, like, sipping on tea kind of awkwardly while you are sat there.
Does anyone else have something to say to her instead of just me?
I mean, I don't really know much about her or anything like that, so this is probably on you guys.
Yeah, because that's the first time Keen's seen her.
Oh, I forgot that.
So, I mean, she might even ask, so, your friend here, I'm sorry, what's your name? My name's Catherine.
Cian O'Doyle.
Oh, it's lovely to meet Keen. That's a lovely accent you have. Your friends, I suppose you spoke to him about what happened.
Yes.
Yes, they did very much. My condolences for your loss.
Is this? I mean, are these kind of events something that you do together?
Oh, we were at what's called. I have relatives in Glasgow, so we were all just down visiting.
Oh, so you're not here to talk about anything to do with what happened?
Oh, did you have any further information about that?
Oh, goodness no. I think everything I had to say I said to Paul already. I was just wondering because you all showed up here if maybe there was another reason that you came. Given how strange things are that went on. Paul did speak to you about my husband's journal that he found.
Yes, and also the newspapers that information that we've read and what your husband Paul had said that all sort of connect together with this Dr. Cullen.
Yes, I've reread or thought about Paul's notes since then. It's very peculiar and just not at all like the man I thought I knew. But you suspect this doctor has something to do with Paul's death and this infection, this plague that's spreading.
We think so, yes.
We're not entirely quite sure. We have suspicions, but we're looking for any information at all to help us point to a definite answer.
Oh, but my husband, for whatever his opinion is worth, certainly seemed to think the doctor was up to something nefarious. And he even mentions, like, dark magics.
And you've never noticed or you've any insights at all?
I had no idea my husband even thought about such things, and I'm find myself wondering how much of it was perhaps due to a bout of insanity. If he was suffering mentally somehow and I just hadn't noticed. I mean, he spent a lot of time over here in the last year or so on his own, not supervised, and who knows what he's gotten up to, or who he's been around, or what he's been smoking.
Well, I wouldn't go about blaming yourself, miss. It's nothing really you could have done.
But I assume you've all found something. I mean, that's why you're here, yes?
I believe so. We're just, like I said, trying to put the pieces together. It's all a bit of a confusing mess at the moment.
Well, and the last entry in my husband's notes that we found, as Paul will be able to tell you, was that he'd planned on breaking into Cullen's office, and I don't know if he was going to confront him or, prove something somehow, but that was apparently the last time he was alive, or last time anyone here saw him alive. And then he died of this disease afterwards, which seems highly coincidental.
Indeed. I think that's all we're gonna get, unless I don't know if anybody has any other questions.
content here.
You have anything, Finley?
No, I think anything I would have asked about's already come up, so...
Okay, so
So-
you finish the sort of casual conversation and sort of leave it at that. Say your goodbyes and leave Catherine to deal with her affairs. So that's probably half an hour, 40 minutes or so, maybe an hour at tops. Still morning, warm, nice day, sunny outside, clear sky. What do you want to do now?
I think we need to actually phone what's called the reverend again about the books, because we can't carry them around.
Well, you mean Father Campbell?
Yes.
I mean, he's all the way back in Edinburgh.
But then he might know of another church.
I mean, I suppose couldn't hurt to ask, but I don't know. To be fair, every time we leave something in the care of somebody else, something terrible seems to happen.
I mean, if you really want, you could ask Catherine to hold on to your satchel of books for you for the time being. If you want.
I literally just said anything.
Yeah, I don't think we want to inflict that on Catherine.
No, I don't think
That's just us tidying up loose ends at that point.
I could just practically hear the evil smile, you bastard.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Just offering a convenient solution.
You're over there drooling. I know. Calm down. You're not killing her.
I feel like we could throw the book into the Clyde. It is a good solution,
So-
is it not?
Of course, the River Clyde, the massive river which Glasgow is built on, it splits the city in half. It's about a 2-minute walk from where you are currently.
I mean, Mildred wouldn't have anywhere that she could store them at the university in Edinburgh. I mean, we couldn't just find
we
a
could
safe space and...
We could store them in Glasgow University.
Do we have a contact at Glasgow University that could store them for us?
I'm sure, like, Mildred would have a contact at the University of Glasgow. Do you not think?
Seems like it could be an option, yeah.
As long as they're trustworthy.
Let's go for Professor Halftops.
Half-tops. And what's he a professor of?
Archaeology. No, actually, he's on what's called art. What was that? The mystical artifacts. What was it the last time we had a guy that was like kind of unseen arts kind of thing? Mythology. Yeah.
Okay, he's not going to be a professor of mythology though. That could be like a side interest.
What would it be then?
I mean, you could be a professor of anything, pretty much.
Humanities or something?
Yes, yeah, humanities.
Humanities and philosophies. Okay, there.
Yes, yeah. So I'm just going to. I think we contact Professor Halftop and we can store it in the Glasgow Uni.
Oh, okay, so you would take a tram down there, walk up to the university, ask around, find his office, catch him between lectures, and I think he'd be surprised, but you know, he's quite happy to hold on to them. Yeah, it's just some books. Until you need to retrieve them. That's not a problem. That's going to take you up to after lunchtime, I think.
Will we go and get some lunch and speculate what we're going to do next?
Sure, I mean, I think there would be somewhere we could get lunch near the university.
Oh, at the West End, certainly there's tons of little cafes and bistros. I feel like you are hesitant to want to go anywhere.
I think we have a sense of foreboding about what might be waiting for us.
I mean, I can
Yeah.
understand Duke Street Prison sounding like an intimidating place to go even during the day.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I keep getting caught in like analysis paralysis. I think that's my biggest thing. I'm like, I feel like there's something I'm not getting here. I feel like there's a secret somewhere, and I'm just like,
Oh, you
I
need to
don't want
go
to leave. I don't
places
want to
to
move
find
on to the next level until I like 100% complete it.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like for the women, I feel like we need to just like chop off our heads, as in, you know, because that's the only way.
Who? Whose head?
Or the maid?
The maids.
Maggie the maid? I thought you meant Catherine. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
No.
Psycho much?
Cultist.
Okay, so you sit down to a quiet tea or coffee, biscuits at a cafe in the West End this pleasant afternoon, and Mildred just casually drops that she thinks you should behead someone.
Can I see if we're still being followed by the police at all?
Of course you can. You are intelligent, aren't you? So do you want to roll 2 dice for
Yeah.
me?
Sure.
Can I check as well?
And you can roll 1 dice to help him, yes. Oh, you
Oh,
ace it.
sorry, I rolled twice by mistake.
That's cool. You got a 6, that's all you needed. Yes, there is definitely nobody following you. You've maybe changed trams a couple of times, you backtracked down a couple of lanes just to make sure there's no one following you here just now.
Was
Do you
it perfect?
think?
Sorry, go.
Do you think the song will help with the maid?
Possibly. I wasn't sure if maybe the maid had died when we used the song the last time, but maybe not.
Or do you think she might have not even been there though?
Also possible. I mean, I suppose we could go back and look in the necropolis again, but I don't know.
Return to the scene of the crime, it's always a good idea.
Yeah, might be unwise.
I mean, you're saying paralysis, Swindle, like, that's why I was like summarising your choices before.
Yeah, no worries. I think if we're thinking about going to the prison or if we're going to I think we should definitely do something.
I still think we should maybe go back to Arkwright's house, and you know, I think it's inevitable that we're going to.
Well, nothing is inevitable. This is their choice.
Was it the Dr. Cullen who worked at the prison? I've actually lost track.
No, Cullen was at the prison because it's currently under quarantine, and he's working in quarantine there because he is supposedly treating people for this disease that is killing them.
Right. It definitely seems like he's a person of interest to us, but
I feel we could go.
Laura, can you wait till Alan's finished talking?
sorry, I was just going to say that would we be able to find out where his office is? I mean, if we can reasonably assume that he's going to be at the prison just now, we might be able to gain access to his office while he's away.
Potentially.
Could we buy what's called sort of like junior doctor, whatever, medical stuff, and like pretend that we're doctors?
Oof.
So I mean, surgical equipment, doctor equipment at this point is not very advanced at all. It's probably something you could procure without too much difficulty.
Just means we could blend in, you know?
That might be a good way of getting us into the prison if need be, right enough. Yeah.
And then ditching it afterwards because we don't want to be like working on anything.
Do you have anything you want to ask or contribute, Paul?
No, at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so you just want to do that? Do you just want to go find Dr. Garb, something that will pass as a prop, and then use that to gain entrance to the prison under the guise as physicians?
It does seem like a plan. I'm not sure that it's a good plan necessarily, but it could be our way forward.
Okay, so
Yeah, I think we just need to commit.
I think Paul should maybe be like a nurse or something because I think like
okay, I'm gonna say men were not nurses at this time period.
oh, were they not? Okay, or maybe a technician.
He'd probably have been a porter. Like, they would have existed.
An orderly, yeah.
Yeah. Me and Paul should be orderlies.
Which would make Finley the doctor.
Yes, and I could be the nurse.
I don't know, Finley, if you want to try and sketch up something to give you.
Yeah, I was going to say I could try and like make some kind of passes for us to get in, some kind of credentials.
Yeah, maybe like a letter, describing your purpose there or something like that.
Sure, that sounds like a good plan.
I don't think they have passes as such, but I think maybe you'd have like a letter of authority or something like that, maybe.
Sure. So I guess it would just be to explain that we've been dispatched there to help treat the patients at the hospital. At the prison.
Yep. So I don't think you need to roll for that. That's a thing you just can do. We'll maybe have you roll for how authentic it seems at the time.
Sure, that's fine. Do you want me to roll just now, or?
We'll wait till you actually get there, because the surprise is when it gets checked.
Okay.
For buying doctor stuff, I mean, you don't have an awful lot of money on hand, but I think you definitely have enough to buy some overalls, coats, stethoscope, that kind of thing. Or maybe a little medical bag full of surgical tools. I don't think it'd be too expensive. But you're probably all kind of very light on petty cash at the moment now.
Oh wait, you guys still have money?
That's what I was about to say.
Wait, we're getting paid for this?
I'm flat broke probably now.
Oh, yeah, most likely.
Pretty sure the last time I got paid was after rum.
Okay,
Yeah, it's true.
so at this point in time, no longer exists. Duke Street, which is on the east end of Glasgow, coming out from the city centre, had a massive prison. And it was an old prison, even at this time, and it's a horrible, disgusting place that you just do not want to be. Full of extremely violent, probably a lot of very mentally ill people. And just Glasgow had this reputation for being a very hard city, and this is like one of the hardest prisons within that city. But yeah, so you approach the high walls and the high gates during the daytime, and then I guess you would just present your letter and try to blag your way in, Finley. But if you want to roll your 2 dice now.
Can I use luck to bump that up a bit? I think that was a poor one.
You could bump the 4 to a 6 with 2 luck if you want.
Yeah, I think I'd like to use it in this case.
Sure. So he takes out, reads it. A prison officer probably decides he's not that good at reading things really, and he better get it checked by someone maybe knows these big long technical terms a bit better, these medical phrases. When he comes back a couple of minutes later and says, okay, well this all seems to be in order. You and your team will be directed to the quarantine section, which is on the east wing. Barnes here, he'll take you over. I'm just trying not to make eye contact with too many prisoners. Don't speak to them, don't draw their attention. And ma'am, you probably want to make sure you keep your distance at all times.
For sure.
Thanks for your help.
Just follow Barnes there and just do as instructed.
Yep, will do. Thank you.
So they wave you in, take you in through the gates. It somehow feels colder just being in the grounds, and even though you're not in the shade. You can hear the yelling and the clanging, things getting thrown around, even from this distance on the exterior. And then you're led into the large brickwork edifice. The smell hits you instantly, the smell of bleach, the smell of human waste. You can see people scrubbing the floors and wiping the walls as soon as you walk in. And they've all got like rags tied around their mouths. You're led down some corridors, past a shower room, and you can see like, other nurses and orderlies going back and forth, and lots of people lined up in beds either side in this sort of makeshift medical centre.
Yeah, it went through my mind. I think we should cover our faces while we're here if we can. You know, like just wrap something around the nose and mouth just in case there's anything going about. I mean, we don't want to pick up an infectious disease on top of everything else.
Are you
Yeah,
using?
that sounds.
Are you going by Dr. Young when you go in, or do you have an alias?
I think I would probably have a fake name for this. I was thinking trying to come up with something.
Dr.
Just...
Old?
the irony is that I'm sure there was like an old TV series called Dr. Finlay's Casebook, and I just can't get that out of my mind. But no, I was thinking maybe just like something generic, Dr. Maxwell Crawford or something.
Okay, so Dr. Crawford. Okay, so they go through, and then Barnes will hand you off to one of the nurses, who is like sweating buckets under all this garb she's wearing. And you can see her hands are all like dirty with whatever kind of muck she's been cleaning up. Yes, doctor. Oh, thank goodness, some help's finally here. I didn't think they were sending anyone else.
Yes,
Perhaps,
sorry, please go on.
Perhaps you and your team can get set up over here. We need your help down the east wing. It's a madhouse.
Of course, we'll do whatever we can. I can only regret that there weren't more of us coming. I'm afraid it looks like you need as much help as you can get.
They are dying by the dozen daily. I can't believe the scale of this thing. I've just feel thankful to God that none of the staff have died so far.
Do you know where Dr. Cullen's office is?
Yes, Dr. Collins is the far end of the east wing here. If you just go along this corridor, take a left, and then take a right, you'll see his office right there. But he's very busy and he doesn't like being disturbed. I'm not sure if he's in just now. I think he was up working all night. He might be resting just now, if you want to wait for him.
Do you think he'd mind if we wait for him in his office?
Oh yes, certainly. He's very, very particular about keeping his privacy.
Okay, thank you. Shall we go to Dr. Cullen's office?
I'm not sure. Do we want to have a look around and see what we can see of the? You know, maybe we want to make it look as if we're rendering aid and then try and get a look at the office after that. You know, just so that we don't. I feel like it might arouse suspicion if we just go straight to the office rather than trying to make it look like we're doing the purpose that we're allegedly here for.
I'm just thinking of time, like if he might come back soon.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, Yeah, I guess we could give that a try if you like. Yeah.
Sorry, so what are you trying?
Should we head for his office?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
So all of you together as a group want to go to his office.
I don't think we're gonna do too well if they have us like fake a medical procedure.
Why don't what's called why don't Paul and Kian, as you are just like sort of supposed to be porters, you do a bit of the cleanup, whereas we're just me and Finlay will just go to the office. That seems sort of reasonable. Yeah.
You can hear the
What?
coughs and moans and cries from people in the ward who are obviously in the throes of death.
Sure, that sounds reasonable. Just out of curiosity, did they ever give us any like face rags or?
No, but there'll be stuff like that lying around in the area that you're directed to,
Okay, fair
as well
enough,
as
fair
like
enough.
wash basins and stuff. It seems very hectic. The staff they don't even have time to like talk to you or pay much attention to you. They're going back and forth, wheeling corpses out, pulling new people in, administering things, and patting people down to try and get their fever under control.
Paul, Kian, keep an eye out for anyone that looks official, or anyone who has like it says Dr. Cullen or something. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of orderlies, although they look more like the prison orderlies. They've just got that sort of hardness about them that you maybe don't see in the hospital orderlies as much. There's a handful of nurses, and there doesn't seem to be a doctor around. You can usually tell doctors because they've got the stethoscope and the robe. I mean, they make a big show in this time period, particularly of letting people know that they're a doctor. Doesn't seem to be any of them on staff.
are we near the office yet?
You just can make your way to the office, yeah.
Do we know if the door's open?
Okay, so you get to the office. It's just a single office at the turn of this corridor, and it looks as if it's been not a warden office, but it's been some sort of official administrative person's office, perhaps formally. The name has been scratched off the door, and it's been scrawled, Dr. J. Cullen on it, and it's got like a glass panel that you can't see through, that sort of wavy. I can't remember what that kind of glass is called. It is a big sturdy wooden door, but it's locked, yes.
Hmm. Can we do spot hidden to see if there's anywhere there that have like keys?
So the floor here is bare. There's not like a rug or anything like that. And there's not any closets or cupboards or shelves or anything. I mean, you can feel around the edge of the doorway, but there's not going to be a key there, no.
Maybe we need Paul to boot in the door.
I think that might be a last resort at best. I think.
So as
Yeah.
as you're standing around there, one of the nurses comes running up, and tugs Paul, because you're the largest there, tugs you by the sleeve. Sir, we really need your help back here.
just me or him too? And Paul points at Cian.
Ah, well, the both of you, yeah.
So Paul looks at Cian, beckons to come with. Has not said his name.
Oh shit, we're being asked to do something already?
Yes.
Yes.
Nurse.
Alright, well, yeah, Kian will, again, not introduce himself, but follow.
Okay, so she takes you along hurriedly along the corridor and twists and turns into one of the sections. There's a small room here. It looks like it's been an office that's emptied out. There's still maybe like a filing cabinet sitting in the corner, and 4 makeshift beds set up. You can see 2 of the people in here are already dead. They're just like lying there. There's the third person is on one of the beds, and he is like writhing back and forth, and there's already an orderly there trying to like hold him down by the shoulders. The man is frothing, chomping with his teeth, biting on his tongue, spitting at the orderly and rolling backwards and forwards.
Okay.
Oh, I guess we're off to help calm down this poor patient.
Hold him down, she says as she starts to prepare a syringe.
Alright, well, Paul would point at the feet for Cian, and Paul will take the opposite side of the other orderly holding out on the other side.
Yeah, Kian will try to, like, grab his legs and hold him down.
Sure, just want both roll with your strength.
Well, I know I'm very strong,
Yep.
so I'm guessing 2.
2, yes.
Yeah, same here.
Oh jeez, Paul, what are you doing? Do you want to use a point of luck to bump that to a 4?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so he kicks and thrashes, and he maybe like boots you in the chest. It's a little painful, but you manage to like hold these feet down. Cian, much the same. Oh, sorry, Cian was on the feet. Paul,
Probably got clocked in the face.
yeah, he just really like smacks you, but it's not a lot of force in it. The man's quite weak. And the both of you can see his veins are like bulging and discoloured. His skin is kind of mottled and grey looking. He's got a kind of like feverish, hawkish look in his eyes. He's back and forth, and he's not shouting or. He's shouting. He's making noises more than he is like vocalizing anything. It's very animalistic, and his mouth is like frothing over. And the frothing seems to be getting more intense the more he kind of rocks around back and forth. But you just manage to hold him down, and the nurse gets the big syringe and just like, seemingly just jabs it in anywhere she can on the arm and injects it to him. And within a few moments, he kind of like his eyes go like sort of blank and roll back, and he settles down and lays still, just slightly kind of twitching and groaning as if he's in pain. The nurse says, well, that's as much peace as we're going to give him. I don't think he'll last more than another few hours.
It only lasts that long?
Once it kicks in, they didn't last long, no. You best go and wash yourselves. There's no telling how it's spreading.
Yeah, that's probably a very, very good idea. Especially with my current status.
You probably want to get yourselves some aprons. They can be quite messy as well.
Oh, fun.
And with that, you are hooked into kind of pulling patients in, holding them down, and eventually you'll be asked to like take a couple of the bodies down to the morgue.
Oh, lovely.
So Dr. Not Finlay and Nurse Mildred, what do you want to do? We are left there in the hallway.
We could try and find a nurse and then tell her that Dr. Cullen has asked us to get a notebook from his study, but he hasn't given us the key. And is there another means of opening the door for his office? But I imagine that might get back to him fairly swiftly, so it would probably limit the time we have to do anything here.
Do you have persuasion or anything like that?
And
Finley?
that's the other thing. I don't have persuasion. No.
I have persuasion.
Are you attractive, Finley?
No, I don't think I have the attractive tag, unfortunately.
Okay,
Do
so I
you-
mean, you would have more authority, so you can roll a dice to try and do that to Unearth if you want, or you can chance Mildred's good looks and good luck.
If Mildred has the persuasion skill, would she not be more better suited?
She does, but she also doesn't carry as much authority.
Could I
Oh, okay.
not say this is on behalf of Finley? Like I'll just do this sort of talking and like Finley's there
You
as
can,
support.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you only roll one dice anyway,
Do I roll the dice now? Yeah.
if you want to, yes. But you're just finding Unearth and just saying what he said.
Oh, so bad.
Yes, she gives you a look like, who the hell are you? You just got here, and you're telling me what to do? Like Dr. Cullen's very particular about these kind of things. If you want to speak to him, he's resting up, I think, in the bed sits. You know, don't disturb him, but I mean, you wait for him to come out and then you can speak to him. I'm sure it'll be most obliging.
Can we do like, walk around and do spot hidden
For what?
to look for keys?
Okay, both of you roll my dice. What fails, man?
Shit.
Oh no, it's just like
The only keys you see are on the belts of the prison guards and orderlies. They
how
jingle-
much luck do you have? Alan?
I think I'm down to about 2 at the moment, so not enough to. Well, I suppose we bump it to a 5, but
One would bump it to a 4, which is just the same as a 5.
oh well.
If either you want to do
I-
that. But I mean,
I
it's sort of,
can
it-
bump it. I can bump it to a 4 because you've only got 2 luck and I've got 3 luck, so I'll bump it to a 4.
Okay, so as I said, the only keys you really see are on the guards' belts. But Mildred, I mean, you might notice that sometimes the orderlies or the guards, when they're in the middle of like helping hold down patients or helping the nurses with their tasks, they sometimes like hang up their jacket and their belt at the side, so as not to get in the way.
There's some keys hanging here.
will I offer to help with the patient that they're attending to, and you can try and get hold of the keys while they're occupied?
Sure. So they have a patient. I say a patient. They've got a prisoner, and they've got his arm like twisted behind his back. He's lying like face down on the pillow. One of the other guards has got his head held down by the hair, just holding him face down on the pillow as if they're almost smothering him. While the nurse is trying to inject something into his spine.
Am I able to take the keys?
Well, what's Finley saying or doing?
Well, I'd like to. I think I'll go up and try to assist them, but I'd also like to try explain to them that I'd like to have a look at the man's eyes while they're doing this. I'd like to try and get a good look at the state of his eyes while they're giving him the injection. So I'll ask if they can kind of keep him steady a minute so that I can get a right chance to examine them.
The guards both kind of give you a look of annoyance, mild annoyance. The nurse pulls back with the syringe and she says, "He's a doctor, do what he says." And they kind of begrudgingly flip him over. One of them like leans down with both his arms on the man's chest to like pin him to the bed, and the other one like forcibly holds the guy's eyelids open for you to see his eyes.
Is there anything unusual about them? Is there any sign of like dark matter or anything in his eyes?
They are very bloodshot.
that's the only thing that I can see.
Yeah, there's nothing. I'm guessing you're looking for something sort of supernatural-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they look very bloodshot. You can see the veins bulging all over his kind of throat and face and body, his temple.
I would again, to kind of play this out a wee bit, I'll try and make a note of this in my notebook and sort of make it look as if I'm very intently paying attention to the man's condition and recording what I'm seeing.
And while he's doing this, Mildred, you're doing what?
I'm snatching the keys.
So it's hanging up. I mean, it's right behind the guy. He's obviously distracted. Are you just kind of like sidling up behind him, pretending you're going to help, or are you trying to be not noticed at all?
I just pretend that I'm going to help.
Yeah, so just describe to me how you're like snatching him.
I'm just kind of like looking over the body and then just kind
Oh, you got the button held down.
of just casually like looking at the patient, just checking to see okay and stuff, but just like skimming the keys.
Okay, what's your dexterity? Are you agile, are you stiff, or neither?
I'm agile.
Are you?
Yes.
I can look at your sheet.
Well, I'm okay. No, but I'm quite clever, so I think I could probably.
So you're not agile, is what you're telling me. You've only got
Yeah,
one dice.
but
Do you have
yeah, but
any
I'm
skills that are relevant?
clever means that you could, like able to sort of master.
Do you have any skills that are relevant, like pickpocketing or oh god, what's pamming?
I have navigate,
No,
persuade.
no. Do you have pamming
No,
or any kind of theatrics things?
no.
Okay, so
Well,
rolling dice for me. That's a 1. It's a big old fail. Yes, you sidle past the guard behind them and kind of half pretend you're going to help them somehow, and you slide your arm around to grab the ring of keys, and as you do, they jingle very loudly, and the guard turns around, taking his hands off the prisoner. What the hell are you doing?
Oh, I was just what's called just making sure, like putting my jacket on the hanger.
You can smell the alcohol off this man's breath. He's like 6'2", large build, big thick black mustache, and these very dark green eyes. And he's like staring down at you really hard, and he's got all kinds of pockmarks over his facial skin. What the fuck has that got to do with you grabbing my keys?
It was by accident. I wasn't getting your keys. I was just putting my jacket there.
He grabs your one hand by the wrist and like jerks it violently, pulling you towards him.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just putting my jacket and just moving them to the next hook.
Finlay, do you want to
And
say anything?
Orderly, please, this man is convulsing. We need to get this shot into him immediately.
Do you want to roll 1 dice for me, Finlay? I can't believe that. Yeah, it's about time 6 came up, man. He grunts. He puts the keys back on the little hook, and then like pushes you away, Mildred, and then turns around and goes back to holding this guy down. And the nurse gets out the epidermal, and they like flip the guy over onto his belly again. Do you want to do anything, Mildred?
No, I just want to get out of there. There's no point.
So you back away, presumably back into the corridor. Where you see Paul and Cian, who each have a corpse that they are pushing along on what are these, Guernseys? Gurneys? What are they called? Trolleys?
Gurney.
Yeah, gurney.
Yeah. So you've each got one with a corpse on it and the sheet, pulled over it. And you're wheeling them down to the morgue, and obviously you have no idea where the morgue is.
Fuck, why is nothing ever labeled?
I don't think that we're gonna get any information today.
Am I too late?
Wrong game.
Oh, damn.
Okay, so you both see Mildred in the corridor. Finlay, you're just like there taking notes, trying to pretend you're doing something as they administer to this poor guy. So which
What sort of condition is he in? Is he still alive, or is he, on his way out?
You're concerned that he's going to like suffocate face down before anything else happens to kill him. But when he was turned over, he was frothing very heavily at the mouth. He's violently kind of moving backwards and forwards and retching around. But it's more out of panic than anything else. So what would you like to do?
I think I'll thank them I'll thank the other staff for their help, but I'll say that I think there's nothing more we can do for the man at this time, and then I'll leave the room to rejoin Ian, Mildred, and Paul outside.
With my fresh body.
Yeah, I think once I'm with you, I think I'll maybe try and look for a passing nurse that we can ask kind of explain that we've just arrived and we're still looking to find the morgue to take the bodies down to.
Yeah, she'll quite easily point you in the direction of the morgue. But she'll maybe ask you as well. So, Doctor, I know you're here to help, but in what capacity exactly?
We'd like to try and observe we're still trying to work out what the cause of this epidemic is, so that we can come up with something that we can prescribe to alleviate the symptoms more effectively. But I think we're having an uphill struggle, but we're trying to learn as much as we can just by whatever means necessary. But any other aid that we can render at the same time, we're more than happy to do so.
Oh goodness, well, I mean, Dr. Cullen's been taking notes for days now. You probably want to speak to him if you want to know what's actually been going on. He's been taking all kinds of observations and tests.
Of course. I believe he's resting in his bedsit at the moment. So
Yeah, she'll point you towards the area where the staff go to like rest between shifts.
Okay.
Maybe we should go and speak to him.
Probably our best bet at this stage. What I was thinking was if Cian and Paul could maybe keep a lookout for any. I mean, in case there's another orderly who's might be leaving their keys unattended down in the morgue or anything. If they're going that way, they could keep an eye out for them.
So you want Cian and Paul to just take those bodies to the morgue, or you to go into the sleeping area?
Well, I mean, it's just what I'm suggesting. I mean, if Cian and Paul have any better suggestions, I'm perfectly open to them.
No, at the moment. Away with the gurney I go.
Sure, okay. Cian, you're going down to the morgue with him?
was gonna say, you know how
That's
like
not there.
I was gonna say, you know how like one of my skills is forensics. Is there anything that I notice?
If you want to go to the morgue, you could look at some bodies for forensics, yeah. Or do you want to do it with the bodies that you have here in the hall?
Yeah, if we can all just like stay for 2 seconds.
Sure. Roll 2 dice for me. Okay, judging by the veins and such, these guys, it'd be a very strange disease that they died of. It must be some sort of blood poisoning if it is a disease. But you've definitely seen these kind of traits before in victims who have been poisoned.
So, okay, guys, so I think it's some sort of blood poisoning. And I've seen this before in my training when, archaeologists, and it just looks like
Wait. Training as archaeologist.
when I was in the archaeologist, um, you know, and studying like bones and things like that and bodies as well, that these victims have been poisoned. So
Okay, so presumably you've studied like cadavers for the rates of decomposition and what can happen to a body and things like that. Is that what you mean?
yes,
Okay,
that's what I
yeah.
meant.
I'm sorry about that. I missed out on quite a bit. Quick.
Don't worry, Keen is dead.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough.
These are still in the corridor.
Oh, okay.
But it was suggested that you just take the bodies down to the morgue while
And
they go into the sleeping area.
we've established that the victims have been poisoned. It's some sort of blood poisoning.
Okay, lovely. So we'll be sure to avoid any injections on our way to the morgue.
Okay, so if you guys go down to the morgue, you take it down the slope, down to there, and it's very chilled underground, very cool area. And there's only one person down here, and they're just kind of tidying up. And what's very strange about somewhere where so many people are supposedly dying is there's very few bodies down here. So a lot of empty tables, a lot of empty shelves, only a handful of bodies.
Kian just is gonna look at Paul and just like shake his head like this. Yeah, this is normal.
Yeah, to be fair, kind of what you expect these days, ain't it?
Is there someone down here that's like managing the morgue or?
Yes, there's a very wiry looking older man down here, and he's got the sort of medical garbs on. He's actually very clean looking. He's not covered in blood and muck or anything like people upstairs. And he's kind of humming away to himself, as if he's having a good time. And he's just sort of like covering up or dressing up one of the corpses. When he sees you both come in, he just waves to you and says, "Oh, hello, gents. Yeah, just leave them over there in the corner."
The corner that he indicated, is there's again nothing there, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's maybe 4 or 5 bodies already kind of stretched out here. But yes, that in this big space, that's all there is.
Okay, yeah. I guess as we're taking the body over to where he indicated, Kian's probably just going to probably awkwardly attempt to make a very casual comment about, it's like, it's rather empty in here.
Oh yes, they've been doing a grand job of emptying the place out.
Really? Has they've where have they been taking all of them?
I'm not sure exactly, but they're taken away to get burnt, I assume.
Oh, okay.
In fact, now that you mention it, he looks at his watch. They were supposed to pick them up early this morning, and those ones are still here. He looks over at the 4 or 5 bodies that are over there already.
Oh, is it not the other orderlies that are taking them out?
Oh, no. Dr. Collins got some specialist unit coming to take care of them. They come by every night and take them away. That is odd. They haven't missed a date yet. That's a bit odd.
But they've missed this morning?
Yeah. Or last night, technically.
Well, you know, I suppose I'm just a lowly orderly. Don't suppose there's any hope of understanding.
Oh well, I'm stupid. I don't know.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so we'll...
I
There you go.
I trailed off because the hamster in my brain died.
Is there anything you want to say or do, Paul?
I can't think of anything else.
Sure. Okay, so upstairs, Finley and Mildred, what do you want to do while those two go down to the morgue?
Sounds like we're probably going to go and we're going to need to go and see if we can find Dr. Cullen.
I feel as if as well, now that I know that it's like poisoning, to see what it is that they're putting in the medication.
Just want to split up. One of you go check the medication. One of you
No,
go find
let's
them.
not do that. Let's stick together.
We could go and look at the medication first, and then we could go and see if we can find Dr. Cullen after that.
Yeah, that seems a plan.
Okay. So I mean, like just asking fellow nurses around, being the doctor, you'll easily find the closet where they keep the drugs.
Do I notice anything?
This is where your spot hidden can come in. So why don't you roll 2 dice? Do you
Ugh.
want to also look, Finley?
Sure, yeah. 2 again, or is it just 1 because I'm...
If you have spot hidden as a skill, yes, 2.
Yeah, I think I do, so just a second.
So many fails. Does Mildred, do you want to spend a point to bump your 3 to a 4?
Oh, I suppose so.
Okay, so they've got drugs in here that are clearly labelled. Among them morphine, obviously. A lot of morphine is or has been used. There's maybe about half as much there as there was originally, you can tell. And there is a shelf just labelled experimental serum. And there is a bunch of Greek alphabet letters used to label different boxes of these serums, little vials.
I think we should take a couple to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
experiment. I don't think we should go and see Dr. Cullen. I think we need to get the other two and then get someone that we know, not in the prison, but I think this might help us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we could try and get these analysed to find out what they're using, but, yeah.
I
don't
think
know.
that's the safe bet. I don't think we should, I don't think we should go and see Dr. Cullen. I think
Yeah.
it's too risky.
As you're saying this, a sort of wiry man with thin, greasy black hair and pockmarked skin, and thin spectacles, steps into the door. What's this about, Dr. Cullen?
Oh, we were just saying that that we're coming back tomorrow to speak to Dr. Cullen, but we're far too busy today.
Well, then it's fortunate that he's already here. How can I help you?
Dr. Cullen, I presume. It's very good to finally meet you. We've been sent here from the Edinburgh University. We're representing their research into tropical diseases, and we're very keen to better understand what's causing this epidemic, as we believe that it shares a great deal of similarity to something that's been experienced by the Belgians in Central Africa, and we're very keen to avoid a similar scenario here in Europe. And we were wondering what you could tell. I mean, we don't like to take up too much of your time, obviously, at this important moment, but we were wondering what you would be able to tell us about what you've witnessed of the patients here. It's a very strange business. We've had a look at some of the men being passed through, and we were wondering if it was some kind of blood poisoning that seems to be causing this.
He tilts his head slightly. I was under the impression that I had full authority and no one else would be coming to this establishment since we're under quarantine.
We don't wish to interrupt what you're doing here or challenge your authority. We just wish to try and better understand what's happening to these people, and then we'll be out of your hair, effectively. Unless there's anything that we can do to render aid while we're here, of course. We can see how short-handed you must be.
Could you
Yes, and also we're alerted because of the media, as well as in the newspaper articles, and as in Edinburgh University, we're alerted that that we should come here for a bit of research.
He raises
and
one
this-
hand, like, to stop you talking. Says, young lady, the doctors are talking, excuse me.
Sorry, apologies.
Can you roll 2 dice for me, Mildred? Okay.
But why do I roll 2 dice? What's the
These
deal?
rolls are, like, so bad tonight. Yes. It says, well, doctor, I'm not sure under whose, authority you were asked or given to come here. But yes, of course. Please come to my office, and I can show you my findings.
Thank you. That'd be most helpful.
Is your assistant here?
Yes, Nurse Brown is. You'll have to forgive her nervousness at the situation, but she's been very useful in our studies so far, and she's accompanying me in this.
Quite. Sure.
Can I just bump the point up to 4, and
you
then
can.
you
So
can...
when he raised his
Okay.
hand to silence you, you noticed his hand was like had a shake to it.
Okay.
And it's obviously a shake that he maybe wasn't aware that he had. Yes, well, if she's your assistant, I suppose she can accompany you.
Are you okay, doctor? Your hand seems very shaky. It seems, I've noticed this in, patients in Edinburgh, that they have the shakiness. Do you have a history of that?
He grabs his wrist and puts it in his pocket. He says, I'm quite sure I don't know what you're talking about, miss. I've had a lot of late nights here. Perhaps that's what you're referring to.
I've just tried to be nice. Thank you.
It's very obvious he is like very aloof, arrogant, disdain for anyone who doesn't have, his tier of credentials. Takes you along the corridor, takes his keys out, unlocks the office, opens the door and sort of pokes his head in, has a quick look before he opens the door up all the way to allow you in. You come into the office, it's fairly neatly kept. There's a huge stack of papers and books to one side. There's diagrams and notes, left scrolled across the paper. The paper I'm talking about. On the desk, but they're kind of arranged neatly. And then he pulls up his chair and, motions for you both to sit down on the opposite side. does the little pyramid with his fingers. So now, Doctor, you wish to know my findings and compare them to this disease that you're talking about.
Yes, we've been studying this very strange outbreak that the Belgians had reported in the Central African colony. It's a very strange business that we think might be similar to this. It seems to be an infection of the blood that's spreading against is spreading through a lot of the younger male population in particular. We thought that this seems to bear some considerable resemblance to what you're encountering here, but really anything you can tell us about what you've seen so far, that particularly anything out of the ordinary, would be of great interest to us and would be most helpful. Thank you.
He raises an eyebrow at this and seems to ponder for a second. Really, the symptoms are that similar? Well, that is interesting. Have you perhaps a speculation about how such a disease may have transferred here to Scotland?
We think it might have come across with, port workers that have been visiting the country, perhaps coming through the merchant shipping. We wonder if it might have been the merchant naval officers traveling between the different countries that have brought it with them, but we can't say for certain. It's just a hypothesis at this point.
As you're talking, Finlay, you notice this time there's a kind of quiver to the facial muscles in his face as well when he's listening to you. He doesn't seem aware that he's doing it, but he has a kind of uncomfortable sort of posture in his chair. Yes, that's most interesting, he says sharply, and stands up and walks over to one side of the room, sort of staring off into space against the wall. Yes, the disease with similar symptoms. That is most interesting indeed. Tell me, Doctor, what was your name again?
My name is Dr. Maxwell Crawford. I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting before this, but your colleagues here speak very highly of you, sir.
Dr. Crawford. No, I'm afraid I'm not familiar with your work. But yes, this is interesting. So what do you propose, Doctor? I have some findings here, and he starts going through the little pile of papers on his desk. I'm thumbing past the ones near the top and pulling out one from the middle. This is some of my earlier findings about the disease, as I believe it to be. Some of the earliest cases that happened maybe 6 weeks ago at the hospital where I was working.
Of course, I see. We'd like to take a blood test of one of the patients, but anything we can glean from your notes on the matter as well would be most useful. You don't have any means here for creating a facsimile at all, do you?
I'm afraid that a blood test is quite out of the question. The disease is highly contagious. I could not allow a sample to leave the building.
Of course, that's most understandable in the circumstances. Well, no, that's all right. It's unfortunate, but no, I do understand.
Do you have a camera and we could possibly take a few photos and then, have them developed and, compare to show the other doctors?
You can visibly see his face go red with annoyance at the fact that you spoke out. But he doesn't say anything. He just stares at you intently with anger, and you can feel the tension in the room rising. No, I don't believe there are any cameras in the prison premises, young lady. Perhaps you would like to draw a sketch. Perhaps that would suffice.
That might be the best that we can manage in the circumstances, of course. If I might just have a look through your notes before we depart. I don't like to take up too much of your time, but I would be keen to look to see if there's any patterns and and what's been witnessed of the cases so far?
Yes, notes. He very selectively sets aside some of the notes from the piles and some of the books from the stacks of books. He's been very particular about which ones he picks out for you. He sets 3 of them on the desk in front of you. Just then a nurse comes running in. Dr. Cullen, you wanted to know if the serum alpha was, had an effect. I think it's happening now. He actually takes off his spectacles and puts them on the table. Says, and he points at the 2 of you and says, "Wait here, don't move," and leaves the office with the nurse.
Is there anything amongst the ledgers that he brought out that stands out? Is there anything that's like different or unusual amongst them?
So the ones that he gave you, no. The ones that he didn't pick up to give you, there's a very well-used, worn, leather-bound journal sitting on top of one of the filing cabinets.
Is it high up or is it just like?
Oh, just a filing cabinet is like, head height.
Okay, I think we should have a quick look through that before he comes back. If he comes back and sees anything amiss, I think we should, given his general attitudes, I think we should pretend that Mildred stood up and bumped the table and knocked things over, and we just want to put them back.
Yeah, blame me because he doesn't like me. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to do that to you, but it would play into his assumptions, I think. So.
Flicking through the journal there, this thing is full of entries. It's almost like a diary, handwritten.
Is there anything unusual about is there anything that like stands out amongst the notes at all?
Oh, why don't you roll 2 dice for me? Your eyes immediately catch one of the pages as you flick through it that says Michael Thomas.
Ah.
do I, spot hidden? Do I see anything?
Anything else in the room? You can roll 2 dice if you want.
Oh, a 6.
There is a discarded empty bottle of morphine lying in the corner behind the file, or to the side of the filing cabinet. And since you got a 6 as well, there is also a black feather.
Can I put the black feather into my
Pocket
pocket?
satchel, yes you can. Do you want to nab this journal now that you've caught sight of what it contains, Finlay?
Can we take out the page with Michael Thomas on it just and then put the journal itself back?
Do you just want to grab one page?
I don't know. I think if we took the journal itself, it might be noticed. So.
Could
Yeah, I
be.
think he's right.
It's you would guess it holds a tantalising amount of knowledge.
Yes, but I'm thinking that he's a madman. That we definitely need to just take one page. That's all.
Well, I guess to be fair, if we can get out of here quickly before he notices, we wouldn't necessarily.
I mean, I
have
will
any
say
trouble.
if you want to just make a dash for it, rather than go in the direction he went and try and get out of the prison that way, you could go in the other direction towards the morgue.
What do you think? Do you want to just grab the journal and make a dive for it?
I don't think we should take the journal. I think we should just take one page and then just go the other way.
Yeah, okay, that's probably safest. Okay, we'll just take the one page and put it back.
And just say, I needed some fresh air. He passes us.
Okay, you rip out the one page, and just a moment after you do so, he comes back into the office, running into the office, and looks at the 2 of you. So,
Are you all right, Doctor? You seem troubled?
Yes,
more
no,
so
not
than-
troubled at all, Dr. Crawford. No,
I've
actually, excellent news. We seem to have finally made a breakthrough here.
Really, that's fun. That's
I'm-
fantastic.
Yes, I'm so sorry to hurry you. Please,
No, of course, we understand. Nurse Brown is feeling a bit troubled by the current circumstances anyway, so we would like to take our leave from you. But you've been most helpful again.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
He waves his hand dismissively, when you mention the nurse. He says, please take my findings and go.
Of course, we will. Thank you very much for your time.
I'm sorry I
Thank you.
must rush you out. Very
Quite
exciting
all right, we
times.
understand.
I must make some experiments immediately.
Of course.
And you can see him, as you leave the office, you can see him like taking that diary that you'd looked at and opening it up and starting to write in it.
Oh shit.
okay. Let's move fast.
Yeah, sounds like we probably better try and get down to the morgue and see if we can find Kian and Paul.
Sure, Keen Pulse, you are kind of coming up from the morgue at that point.
Sure, probably. I would imagine so.
I think we need to go
Hopefully
now.
without the bodies.
I think we need to go now. So let's swiftly get
There's
out of here.
Yeah.
the scream of a woman from one of the wards off to the side. Sounds of commotion, gurneys and things being knocked over, pans hitting the floor, yells of excitement and anger and fear from the guards.
Should we have a look at what's going on, or should we just try and get out of here?
It's entirely up to you, Lord. I suppose we've got some information, but I don't think it's very pressing at the moment. You all seem to be in a very big hurry, so
Yeah, I think we don't dawdle because he might look for that page that we ripped out.
That's true. We don't want him to. If he realizes it's gone, we want to be gone when he notices. So we could just use the commotion as a distraction and make our exit.
right, off we go.
We did get the solutions, didn't we? We did grab
Yes,
the
you grabbed some,
files.
yes.
Yeah, that's good. Are we out of the prison? Just to say.
Yes, if you're running down, you can take a sort of back side entrance that's not out the front door. And get out of there while the commotion is happening. A couple of guards will run past you as you're leaving. And they're running towards the sound of the commotion. You find yourselves out in the rear of the prison yard. There's high fences, stone wall, some guards, going back and forth on patrol. There's some prisoners that have been taken out into the yard and they're like jogging around in a square.
Can we see our way towards the exit at all?
Yeah, you can walk around the side of the building to get to the front yard. And then a guard will approach you. Hey, you're not supposed to be wandering around out here unsupervised.
Oh, sorry, we lost our way. We didn't know what's called. We were just visitors from the Edinburgh University. So we thought we got lost. We didn't know the front entrance. So we're just leaving now. We've got our findings. So
Oh, roll one dice for me. Oh, Mildred. What are you talking about? We don't have any visitors. We're under quarantine. Who the hell are you people? You two, you're orderlies. Shouldn't you be in there helping?
We finished our shift.
What the fuck are you doing milling about out front here then?
Smoke break.
away with yous. And he points you towards the exit.
Thank you.
Hands in his hips, watching you leave. Okay, so you've got other guards, lights out. At the main entrance, and you find yourselves on Duke Street.
That was where should we go next then?
I put the journal entry in your handouts.
I'll just have a quick look at that.
So this is an entry from 10 years ago. Or almost 10 years ago.
I wonder if George was the person in Rum. What
Wait.
do you think?
I thought George was Arkwright.
Both of those are correct. George Below was in Rum, and George Arkwright is Arkwright's name.
Oh fuck! Which one is he talking about?
Why did you only get one page?
Quick, sneak back in.
I think as well for the fact, you know, I feel like it would be the George and Rum, but then I'm thinking, oh, it's probably the George Arkwright.
So I mean,
Yeah,
sorry.
The date on this. How far ago was this?
So we're currently in the 13th of April, 1922. So this was
that's right.
back in August 1912. And just because there's a lot of handouts and you probably don't remember, Michael Thomas left Edinburgh around October or November 1912.
Okay, and do we know when George Below died?
Let's see. George Below is, as far as you know, not dead. He is still the person who owns the island of Rum.
Oh, right. George is the son. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like just the wording of when it's referring to George, I feel like it's talking about Arkwright.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Arkwright wasn't in a good condition, but then we never saw George Below, so we don't know whether maybe he's suffering from something similar.
Right.
And then looking at the letter as well from Michael as well about like the Dagons and stuff. think, he says about the Dagon are wanting, I think this is the stone, and I think George Arkwright was talking about the stone, and also remember the Dagons wanted the stone as well. I think it's George Arkwright.
Yeah, I would be more inclined to think it was Arkwright, yeah. Just considering where we found the Michael Thomas letter, I think that's probably more likely referring to, it sounds like more like he's working, probably more likely working with George Bolo, whereas Cullen and Arkwright seem to be ranged against them, because Cullen's journal denounces Michael Thomas, so I think that makes it more likely that he's linked to Arkwright, I think.
Yeah, because when you look at the look north to the coast, perhaps even Orkney, where it's, buried, the oldest stone, and then Arkwright was talking about the stone. So I think it is definitely George Arkwright that yeah. I'm probably about 95%.
Yeah, I wanted to argue against that, but at the same time, if it sounds like Reverend Thomas promised George Arkwright a cure for his condition, but never delivered. So Arkwright went with Cullen, probably swapped cults altogether because we know there's two, and left Reverend Thomas's cult in order to hopefully get get a cure for his condition through Cullen. Fuck me, this is just a nightmare.
Plus, wasn't there like pictures where the face was scratched out as well?
In rum, yeah. Wait, if that's the case, why would Arkwright still have the photo? Still have the painting of him and Thomas?
And Arkwright is rich, and so is the rum guy as well. So it's kind of like I'm just hedging bets on Arkwright just now because he's like regarding the stone, and we don't know where the other George guy is. But then the other George guy could be dead because he could be, he could have been the guy that was like, at rum that we killed.
I'm still fairly certain that was Thomas myself.
Thomas could have gave him his ring.
Yeah, Kian's just gonna, remembering about the ring on his finger, is just gonna take a moment to look at it.
Will he not get anything from the ring about if there was any sort of past people that have shared it?
I mean, it's just a ring.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so I mean, are you saying this to Keen, and Keen, are you like trying to like remember through the ring?
Probably not. I honestly, yeah. I mean, Kian's had visions and shit like that, but I don't think he's figured out if that's just a thing that happens to him or if he's like willfully conjuring it. I don't think he's come to any sort of conclusion like that. He's just sort of looking at the ring and just he's trying to wrap his head around all of this, and is failing, and it's still frustrating him.
I'd say when you had that flash memory in the basement before, people calling your name, and now when you're trying, put things together and thinking about it, and all these names are coming up, you can see some of the faces of the people in that basement who are calling your name.
Oh shit, okay.
One of them looks like the face of Michael Thomas from the painting you've seen. One of them looks like the face of George Arkwright before he was afflicted, or maybe just the beginnings of affliction. And the other is the face of the maid. And then the other is the face. Well, you didn't see James Cullen, did you?
No, I did not.
You see the face of another man, and if you describe what he looks like, it sounds like a description of James Cullen.
Fuck me! Of course the vision clears after I get stabbed. Yeah, no, Kian's like really thinking through his memories, and it's just like, well, now he's like, he'll just sort of outwardly describe everything that he remembers.
And again, it's your name that they're calling.
Oh, so it is proper, like, Kian.
Oh, you don't hear
Come
the
here.
words, but when they're calling your name, you're like, that's my name. They're asking for me.
Oh my god. So this vision still doesn't feel like it's I'm seeing somebody else's. This is my weird vision memory thing. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I think you should stop wearing the ring.
No, I'm still wearing it. It's fine. All right. Well, we definitely know that George, Arkwright, and Cullen are definitely working together.
We also have the sample that we took from the serum that we took from the prison. We should probably see if we can find out who could like analyze that for us. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Figure out what.
Sure, so you grab two of the vials, one that says alpha and one that says beta. And then they'll have like a /2 or like a /4 on them as well.
Do we then just maybe go to the university or something to get them tested? Is there specialized labs that we can go to?
I mean, there'd be chemistry labs, sure.
Yeah, let's go to like a chemistry lab then.
Do you want to try and go to one in Glasgow University while you're here? Because you have to go there and pick up your books anyway.
Yeah, sure, I think that's it. Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking they could be in cahoots. What do you think?
I think at the very least, whoever we give them to, we should try and transfer the serum or like maybe some of the serum into a different bottle, so it's not so obvious where it came from.
Or even maybe save a couple of drops of it. Just
Potentially,
so that, yeah.
Like maybe if we just take a little bit out of the bottles that we took, if we put like a little bit into something else and present that for analysis, see how it goes.
Yeah, that seems
So you
logical.
Go back to the place where you bought the medical gear, or probably in amongst the medical gear you have, there'll be syringes or vials of some sort. Transfer into that. So the liquid is this very watery black liquid. It looks exactly the same in either vial. Do you want to pop it open and transfer it?
I think you need to make sure you're wearing gloves before you do that, and a mask.
Yeah, I'm guessing would we have purchased stuff like that when we were buying the medical equipment anyway?
I mean, you got the rags you were using over your faces when you were in there.
Yeah.
There's probably latex gloves or rubber gloves, whatever they had at the point in time, in amongst your medical gear, yeah. Who's all standing around when this gets opened?
Or the opening the vial, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think there's anything Kean would want to look at, or I'm pretty sure he's not smart enough to understand anything with chemistry, so I don't think he's standing right by it.
He's smart enough to stand a distance away.
I think I don't want to give him too much credit. I don't think it's out of intelligence or paranoia. I think it's literally just like, I don't know anything about chemicals, so why do I need to be standing right there like figuring it out?
I think maybe we just change the label of the vials and just like hand them to them. I think let's just do that. I think.
Also possible, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so you're abandoning the idea of opening these vials and you just want to change the labels.
Yes.
I think, Finlay, you've got this kind of expertise for these kind of things, and that's something you could do quite easily.
Sure, I'll just swap them over and put something like generic on them, like, sample 1 and sample 2 or something like that.
Maybe say that's from the Edinburgh University or something like that instead of it being.
Yeah, try to make it look like it's come from somewhere not here.
Yeah.
Another alternative possibly is to take it to a chemist's, because there would have been a lot of them around at this point in time. And just a private chemist's, a pharmacy, and just take it in there and ask them to have a look at it if you don't want to go to a university.
That might be a possibility. I mean, if we're in any doubt about finding someone we can trust at the university, then just well, certainly in the first instance, just a regular chemist might be a good idea.
Yeah, that seems logical.
Okay, so we go down, we find a high street chemist's, or maybe a back street chemist's. And I guess if someone can roll with their credit rating, they're going to throw them a few shillings to try and take a moment out their day to have a look at this for you.
I would, but I think like my luck is probably not so great with the roll.
I'll give it a go if you like. Yeah, is it just 1 dice or 2?
Unless you're rich, it will be 1 dice.
Yeah, I don't think I've got rich, so yeah, just be 1.
So bad.
Do you want me
God.
to try? Do you want me to try then? I can do 2 dice, yeah?
Are you rich?
I'm fair. I would say
You're
fairly.
not rich. You're an archaeologist
okay.
at university.
Right, okay, 1 dice.
You've had to roll this before. You're definitely not rich.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Okay, so you both empty your pockets out. You're broke now, okay? Finlay, you're broke until you can rustle up some more work. Mildred, you're broke until something can be done about, your husband missing, till it turns up some more money, because, you've not got access to anything else now.
Yeah, I think I'll probably be going to the bank of sister and brother-in-law.
Nice. Yeah, so you empty your pockets out and convince this chemist, who's a Weasley, educated but kind of Weasley guy. He takes the vials, and do you have any idea what's in this? What kind of thing should I be testing for?
I believe they're a kind of medicine, but we don't know what its component parts might be. We'd be interested in trying to work out what it is exactly.
Sure.
We
So, there you go, sorry.
roll. Oh, I was just gonna say if we rolled dice, but
Oh, you don't need rolling dice. Okay, so he'll pop the lid open, and the whole room, if anyone's in there, is filled with this really foul, coppery smell. It's got a kind of fishy tinge to it almost. And the man immediately kind of balks and puts the lid back on. Like, oh, that is vile. Oh, and he kind of hunches over for a second and sort of holds himself back from retching and coughs a little. I think you'll all find yourself kind of doing the same thing if you're in the vicinity.
not there.
Second time he opens up all the windows and puts a mask on before he opens it. Pops it open very hastily, pours it into a container and smears it out. Gets a magnifying glass out, starts like dabbing different other chemicals and materials against it to try and determine, its nature of it. By the end of the process, he's able to tell you it's definitely blood. He's not able to identify this other organic material that must be mixed in with this blood to give it the properties it has. It's not like anything he's ever seen before. It would certainly be highly toxic to a human being if ingested or injected. Or perhaps even if you inhaled too much of it. But it appears to be not human blood.
I guess we should just thank the chemist for his time and his analysis, and then take our leave.
Actually, while they were doing that with the chemist, I realized I still have that brass fixture that I took from Arkwright. Could I go ahead and pawn that off for some extra dough?
Oh, of course, yes. Plenty of pawn shops at this time period.
Anything I need to roll, or it just happens?
They're not going to ask any questions. They're just going to eye up. Do you have persuasion or anything like that?
No, I don't.
Just roll one dice for me. Your credit rating just now is just in the middle, I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this fills your pockets and gives you enough to eat pretty nicely for a month.
Okay. Hey, there we go. Yeah, and then once that's done, I'll head back. I'll probably head back to the chemist lab if they're still there by the time I'm done.
Yeah, and when you get to Ken's lab, I mean, they've got the windows open, you can smell whatever it is they're doing before you get there. And that's above the smell of the street and the sewer.
Ugh.
Yes, but it's a highly toxic, potent blood of some kind. Not human blood, something's been done to it, clearly, but he's unable to tell you what it is. It's not a chemical or material he's familiar with. So if you were thinking it's a poison before or something like that, if it is, it's no kind of toxin he's encountered before or can discern.
Lovely. An extra freaky poison.
So I think we might have to go to Arkwright's house.
What are we looking to gain from Arkwright?
I mean, we've already visited once before. Either we're dropping the act, or we're gonna have to get even more clever.
Yeah, I think I think that'll probably be for next session, but I think the plan should be to get into Arkwright's house because he might soon have the stone.
And given the circumstances in which we came by the serum from the hospital, it sounds like they're trying to test out something that might cure Arkwright's affliction. Maybe that they're like using the outbreak as a cover for testing the serum on live patients.
Yeah, that seems logical. I don't
Especially, sorry, go on.
I don't think we'd have got I don't think we'd have got away with taking that book, by the way, because how far he kind of rushed back for it, so that was, not going to be great. So at least we got part of, the story. So
Yeah, we got something out of it. That's the main thing.
what do you think the feather, because the feathers with the people, do you think that the um the people turn into those creatures?
Well, that was something me and Paul found out in the morgue. Apparently, Cullen has some people that are taking the deceased out of the morgue, and uh, something must have happened today because apparently this was the first day, the morning that they didn't pick up any. So I don't know if something's clearly changed with Cullen's usual plans
You
before we
check it.
even came here, I think. Or, well, before we even came to the prison.
Do you think that's got something to do with the sort of the other reverend, the fathers, the police being there and stuff like that, and the attack that he's decided not to let people in, it's too much.
I really don't know. I mean, like I said, according to the guy that was running the morgue, this they normally come at night or early in the morning and take the bodies out, but for this particular morning, nobody's shown up yet. So I don't know if it's connected to the things that are in the necropolis or something else maybe, but whatever Cullen's doing, they're apparently just dying doesn't mean he's done with you.
Yeah, I think that just seems like, especially if it's like necropolis and the sort of the sort of um the sort of black monsters. I just think that all just connects, and especially there was the coincidence about like all the sort of media and the police and all the sort of ministers and everything, and so Dr. Cullen would probably want to keep a sort of low profile on, so that you know none of this, if there's like a huge police investigation, that you know none of it can be tracked to him. So what do you guys think?
One thing that went through my mind is that do you think if there is blood in the serum, do you think that it's something that they've drawn from one of the creatures that attacked the Reverend in the necropolis? I mean, is it possible that they've taken samples from them and they're trying to use that to create a serum?
That is possible. That could be a possibility.
Uh, you okay there, Cal?
very spaced out and very coffee.
I was just going to kind of wrap up a bit now anyway.
Sure, it seems like a kind of logical point to let it go for now.
I mean, you can decide where you want to go next time, and hopefully Callum's feeling more alive.
Yeah.
I'd very much like it. The extreme nausea's kicked in from all the coughing, which is just great.
Oh man, I completely sympathize.
Yeah, so we'll call it there for this week, and we'll pick up next time. You can decide where he's want to head off to.
Sure.
Sure, that sounds
Yep.
good.
Sounds good, yeah.
Sounds good.
Thanks for persevering.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for running it. Thanks for not killing me.